Mayhem in the AM, Nick Cellini, Chris Domino in conversation with a guy that has had success and might have a lot more success this year if you believe what people are saying about his team. He's North Carolina head coach Roy Williams. Coach, thank you for coming by. We do appreciate it.
Well, it's good to be here. Didn't listen to what City was saying. I was going through the comics over there because there were no sports pages, so I knew you guys had them over here getting something.
But let me ask, what comic did you find yourself gravitating towards?
You know, it's just read each one of them and say, gosh, that'd be a good way to live. I like the one where the dog is sitting there looking up in the sky and he says, okay, the picnic's 24 hours, the leaves are falling 400 to 500 an hour. Yeah, the time he's right. The dog lays down, the pile of leaves on him the next day, and the two people stand there and say, you think these chicken sandwiches are going to be okay while we go play catch? So the dog had outsmarted the people again.
Well, you know what? Some would say with your recruiting classes, you've outsmarted everybody year after year after year, but let's talk about this year. How shocked were you that everybody decided to come back?
Well, I was shocked. There's no question. I thought the chances of everybody coming back were much smaller than the chances of everybody going. And I actually thought we would lose one or two, and I was convinced we would never lose two. So I was really surprised, and yet Tyler made the decision without even testing the waters, because I've always told the guys, do what you want to do, and that's what Tyler wanted to do. And the three kids that tested the waters, I think Danny and Wayne did the right thing, because coming back and playing better, they'll have a chance to move up as long as they enjoyed college. And then Ty was probably the one that was more on the fence in my mind, because everybody said, he would be a number one draft pick, but nobody told me they would take him. And I wanted some kind of assurance like that, and so did he. But it was a surprise, and yet they've come back with wonderful attitudes. I told them when they all made the decision to come back, I sat down with each one of them individually and their families in two of the three cases. I said, now don't come back if you think you're going to get 35 shots a game and we're going to build the offense around you, because that's not going to happen. What we're going to do is try to win as many games as we can, and if you want to be involved with that kind of attitude, then we'd love to have you back. And each one of them has just been wonderful.
Well, there's an elephant in the room, and it's named undefeated. I don't know. It almost seems as it's been attributed to some of the guys on this team. Has that word come out of anybody's mouth, as far as you know, associated with the program?
No, and I would say that it hasn't come from anybody on our team. You just set yourself up for failure. There's so much parity, which people want you to use those things. There is so much parity in college basketball. Playing Virginia, or Clemson to Clemson, or Georgia Tech, it makes no difference in this league. You don't care what the ratings say. They're out there trying to beat your rear.
You're also, sort of, you've got the belt. Everybody knows what your situation is, so you would assume you get everybody's best game on that side.
But I like that. I think it's good for my team. I think it holds us to a higher standard. I would hate to think that we would go out and somebody just lay down against us, but who cares about that? I like that part of it, and I'm hoping that that'll get my team to be ready to play.
Roy Williams, North Carolina head coach, with us here on 790 The Zone's Mayhem in the AM and 790thezone.com as well. And I like what you said about bringing these guys back. Look, this is the way it's going to be. We have to function as a team. And some would say that's the biggest challenge when you have this much talent, making sure everybody's on the same page.
It can be a talent if you, a problem if you allow it for it to be. We speak about it right up front. The other thing is that I'm very lucky. The character of our kids is really a high level. They understand that in 05 we won the whole thing. We had 4 guys drafted in the top 14. But Kansas won the whole thing last year and had 5 players drafted. A couple years ago, one of the years of Florida, one of them was Florida, Ohio State, LSU, UCLA in the Final Four. 6 of the top 9 picks in the draft played in the Final Four. And so I think those kids that we have do have great character. And they also realize that NBA likes to see who can do it on the biggest stage. And so you need to get your team to that biggest stage.
And everybody's back for the right reasons, it seems. It sounds like you're saying the ability to get on that ladder and cut down the net. That better be your night to night. It focuses this game. Your ability to look a little bit long term, because everybody does it. It's just human nature. Are you thinking about what it's going to take to have this team be in that position?
I think you answered, in my opinion, you answered yourself, that you have to focus on every night. I'm not one of those guys I make fun of. Everybody says, well, you need to be peaking at the right time. It's not like golf where you play a course that's a par 72 and you shoot 68 and say, hey, I'm really peaking. Well, in basketball, I'm not that much smarter nor dumber than the other guy. If I know how to peak, so does he, and so everybody's peaking at the same time, so somebody's still going to lose. But you said it yourself. We've got to be able to play the best every single night. And if you do that and keep trying to improve, you should be playing your best basketball at the end of the year. We understand that other expectations are saying, well, you've got to do this, but I'm not living my life like that. This is college athletics.
You've been around this so long. Can I ask, we were talking, some of the other coaches bring up how long they've been doing it. Are you more open now at a later age to, I see this on TV, I like that, but to bring that in, as opposed to when you're younger, you just say, this is my plan, this is my book, this is how I go about it?
No, I'll give you an example. Last year we played Ohio State in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. And Thad Mott, Ohio State coach, is a good friend. We're running off together, crossing each other going to halftime. He said, did you get that last play from Texas A&M? And I said, no, I got it from Briarcrest High School in Memphis, Tennessee. And I had. And we ran a play right before half. I got a basket against them. And he had said that Texas got A&M and run it against them a couple of weeks before and scored a basket. I said, no, I got it from Briarcrest. I still believe in doing this thing. So I went to watch the USA under-18 play, practice. And we had 3 guys on our team right now at our place signed with us next month. I picked up some things in that practice that I've already put into use in practice this year. I went to watch the Charlotte Bobcats in training camp down in Wilmington, the D2 Wilmington 2 days. I saw some things there that I put in this year. So for us, my philosophy's not going to change, the foundation's not going to change, but I do like changing.
Roy Williams, head coach of North Carolina, with us here on Mayhem in the AM on 790 The Zone. Talking about Tyler Hansbrough and his work ethic, where does he rank with guys that you've coached? Because I've heard nothing but great things about what he does away from the games themselves.
On the court, nobody ever worked harder than Michael Jordan. There are a couple of guys in that same league with how hard Michael worked with Tyler from there. The difference, I've never had anybody that's focused off the court as Tyler. Michael, in fact, later in his career, got into the weightlifting. We'd even have the Breakfast Club the morning of the NBA Finals where he and Scottie Pippen and Ron Harper would go lift that morning. Well, earlier in Michael's career, he didn't do that. Tyler Hansbrough, if our strength and conditioning coach, our orthopedic surgeon, our coach, our coaching staff, tells him that something's really good for him, he's going to do it. And I mean, it's not that he's this guy that locks himself in the room and stares at the wall, because needless to say, he does have fun jumping off balconies in the pools and junk like that. But
they're trying to give his coach a heart attack.
That's right. But he really does. He's more focused off the court, more driven off the court. And the most amazing thing to me is that each year I see that level go up. Even last year, after winning all the National Players of the Year and deciding to stay in school, he got so much more enthusiasm. He got re-enthused, re-energized, and he took it to another level.